Wow, that's powerful. But I'm sure there's like a lot of sacrifices people make on the way. So, what do you think ambitious people emotionally sacrifice while, everyone else is applauding their success?
There's a positive sacrifice and there's a negative sacrifice. All right. So now there's a positive sacrifice where I can relate the story of Virat Kohli. All right. So Virat Kohli, as he was playing in this IPL in between 2012 to 2013, he realized that his form had gone out of order. He was not
Wow.
performing as well as he would like to. And that's because he had been partying all the time, and he'd
Right.
been drinking, he'd been eating all kinds of foods and all of that. And it led to a negative impact on his performance. That's when he realized he has to become the number one batsman India has ever seen.
Yeah.
So if he has to do that, he needed to ramp up his weight training regime. He had to ramp up his effort that he was putting outside of the actual match. So what he did was he basically started amping up his training, and one of the things that he did was he gave up his favorite butter chicken. He gave up drinking. He started training. He started training lots of volume, and then 1 year later, we saw a huge difference in how Virat Kohli performed, both in terms of international cricket, in terms of IPL, in terms of everywhere. And his peers simply lagged behind. There were other peers, like Rohit Sharma or many of the others who were good,
Yeah.
but they couldn't match or perform at the level Virat Kohli performed, after that. Now that's
For
the
sure.
positive side, all right, where
Yeah.
you basically have an ambition, and so you make these choices, you make these trade-offs, and then you have no regrets about it, all right?
True.
But then there's the negative side, which is the dangerous, and this happens to entrepreneurs, this happens to regular people, when they have these ambitions. What ends up happening is when they have to make these trade-offs, they stop caring for themselves. They stop looking after for them. They stop looking after themselves. For example, it could be an entrepreneur who works overnight, who works extra hours, who slogs forever, and he ends up gaining a lot of weight without taking care of himself. That's just one example. Or it could be even an ambitious working mom who's balancing the children, who's balancing the home, and who's balancing her work, and she could stop caring for herself. There's plenty of people out there.
Right.
So that would be, I would say, the negative side of ambition. When you have an ambition, and then there's this other set of people who basically have an ambition, but because they don't know how to integrate, they get into something called black and white thinking. So when black and white thinking is basically where they say, I'll only be happy, or I'll only relax, or I'll only enjoy myself when I achieve a certain goal.
Yeah.
All right. Now it starts with, for some people, it starts with school. Like until and unless I get my 95% or 99%, I am not going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to go out, I'm not going to meet friends, I'm going to just lock myself in a room, keep studying till I hit that goal. That's just one form of black and white thinking, which basically creates that. But that doesn't end there. It doesn't just end with schooling. A lot of people carry that through their later years, and when they carry through the later years, that's when it hurts them the most.
Right.
So I would say that there are many emotional costs people pay for ambition. Right now, there's a positive side, there's a negative side. Right now, the negative side is something that we need to talk about, we need to become aware of, and then we need to make sure that that is taken care of. So it is constructive and it is not destructive.